split, you really need to have your hard positions down, especially on the defense. And rotates are going to be the name of the game.
Yep, definitely. So just looking a bit at how everybody is setting up, we have Gen.G on the defense with Shopify Rebellion on the attack. So we have the Killjoy and the KO playing together on that A site. Well, we have, Raisin Sage at mid, and we have Astra at that B site. Astra as a pick right now still really interests me because she did get nerfed, a month ago. At this point, maybe some teams are keeping it because of comfort, but you have to be really deliberate about when you're using her stars and where you're placing her stars.
That early wall is going to start things off with Hannah. Oh, no, they're going to wait a little bit. Maybe they're waiting for the audio cues to come out from mid. Realizing, though, that nobody from Shopify is going to be pushing that middle area to start things off. They might think it's a safety area. Little do they know, the Omen, the Sky, both pushing up all at once. It's going to be a potential 1v2. Dog/Coyote coming out, though, and it gets blocked by the wall. Great anti-utility usage.
Yep, and now that's going to be the wall quickly sprayed down at that mid side, but Shopify still keeping it quite slowly. We have Lori pushed up all the way into A heaven, but she has not triggered anything from Lily as of yet.
No, not quite yet, and we do see double KO, right? We see one rotating back over to A side from Han, but Gen.G's KO still dialing it far back, not acting like that lurking role like we kind of thought maybe could be possible. But Sakura, I think you're completely right here. Dialing it back, making sure they can play off the Killjoy. Suppressing Knife comes out, and look at that. It only finds one. It's going to be their imposter.
Oh, yes, and that is going to be the spike down. It's even to a grenade. So now Shopify Rebellion still moving in, but Gen.G all coming in from that defensive side.
30 seconds.
And here we go. The games have already begun. Pink grenade goes through, but it's too little too late for Lori to get out of the way. Some more utility usage coming abroad. 3v3 to start things up inside of Heaven. 2 left down on A side. It's going to leave 1 by themselves. It's up to Panini to really hold the top side. They're able to do a great job. Hannah's going to fall, and look at this. From behind, suddenly, Gen.G, well, they have to fight a whole-on retake, but Flowerful's there for the double kill right across elbow to start things off very positively for Shopify.
Even though there was that initial pick onto Gen.G, Shopify Rebellion still able to come in onto the A side. We kind of had a 4-1 split situation with Panini coming up mid and making sure that Gen.G could not take A heaven that easily. So now going to the second round, we will have Shopify not full buying up, Spectre buying up for the Spectres and the Fill Shields on every single member. And something interesting to note, we still have Lily and Carly playing together. I was interested to see if they were actually going to split up and then maybe play separately with Lily and maybe Hannah perhaps, or Lily and Lynn, but they're still doing that double lead duo, which I really like.
Yeah, I really love the initiation factor coming out from Shopify here. They really threw Gen.G in for a loop on the beginning pistol round, but it looks like Gen.G now are going for the execution they wanted to in that first round. They're pushing through mid, approaching now towards sewers, and they've effectively trapped Shopify. As long as they can keep their bodies alive, which as I speak they don't quite, KP's able to mow them down like blades of grass, that's going to be effectively Gen.G neutered from one side, and now everyone has to rotate over to B.
Yeah, but Gen.G, they already have positions set up inside of Heaven. A shorty kill would be massive if she looks at the right spot, but Shopify should just take full control at this point.
Full on control.
No!
Oh, another body caught on down. Full-on retake needs to come underway. 1 left alive, though. It's up to Carly. This is not an ideal spot, Sakura. No utilities. Definitely no ult to work with. No weaponry at all. Saving might have to be the only option, but even then, it might not be worth it. It's a 1v4.
Oh, definitely. There's no way she's going to save that because it is just a classic, and you do not want to save a classic on that second round, as she's probably just going to wait for anybody who does overextend. But for Gen.G, when they did decide to push into sewers with those 2 members, I believe it was Lynn and Hannah, I feel like I would have wanted just everyone from Gen.G just to run it down mid and try to catch Shopify Rebellion off guard because, wait, she's on site?
Oh?
Wait,
Oh?
no?
Oh?
Wait!
No! Good on Lori, saving the day right at the last possible time. Carly trying to solid snake their way in as much as they could. That was unbelievably impressive.
I actually thought that she had gotten it there, and I was about to go off, but that was really close for Gen.G. And Shopify Rebellion, they have to make sure that something like that does not happen again. Using that on a little bit early, but for Gen.G, they still have kind of the same setup. They're not going to change anything except for the fact that they probably will not push this round because they have that weapon advantage this time. KO knife, once again from It Not Han, going to be at that A side, making sure that nobody is sitting near that heaven area. But of course, the responding knife will find out 3 members of Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, really good start here for Gen.G. Most of which now the suppress is gone. Flowerful engaging in a gunfight back at B site. It's going to be Tyre trying to make sure they can at least stall and hold the defenses a little bit more. There we go, that initiation coming through on the top of A. Going to help allow the Rays push a little bit more. Rotates have gone on through though. Shopify have changed their course every single round. They want to keep Gen.G on their toes.
Yep, the Sage Wall, once again, is placed up mid and will get spammed down once again. Gen.G, though, they haven't really moved from the sites that they're holding, and still Lin and Hannah sitting up inside of B Heaven. But for Shopify, it's looking like B is that site to hit. Still 48 seconds left, and Lori's going to be that one catching out the flanks.
A lot of tough decisions need to be made right now. Seekers are going to go through, gives a lot of initiation, but the slow response, plus a knife too. Definitely not the way to go. It seems like the course has been set, go back into A. The problem is, though, they're going to be landing directly into some KJ utility all over the site. It's going to be a lot Flowerful, though, to go in for a powerful flank. No more smoke utilities used for Gen.G's side. Flowerful, again, going to take a clip out of Carly's book, try to go sneaky themselves. They're avoiding the Sage just in time, holding on to B, but Hannah still finds them out. No, it's all over A. Things are looking good. Shopify able to get onto the site. The plant underway, one on top of Raptors. Lily's not going to find the shots. But still, Heaven Control's very, very important. They're down a body. Might be able to converge their way through and find one more. But look at where Lori's position is. There's 2 inside Hell and Garden. They're able to find any pinch from those going down. The dark cover's going to be a distraction from above. No one's watching screens. Hannah pushing forwards, able to find a rogue headshot on the Lori, but they know about Garden. If they drop down, they could be good for one. This could be their way of taking it back. Gen.G have the man advantage, but Panini takes it back. One left alive now, and it's Han to save the day. 3 in a row for Shopify.
Yep, and they won that basically on the weapon disadvantage. So Shopify's going to be in a really good position, and Gen.G will have to save once again. But as you said, Shopify just moving around, they're like, all right, we're not really getting too much information anywhere else. And we've gotten 1 pick on that A site, so everyone's going to move on to the A site because Gen.G, again, they're not really pushing out. They're just staying in those positions. And maybe it's time. You know, they have 5 sheriffs, which that is not the recipe to be pushing out, though.
True. I did feel like maybe Lily and some others over-rotated from A site because the KJ utility wasn't there to stop Shopify or even give information. Oh, but look at this beautiful knife to go underway. No one's in the backside. It's free access to B.
Yep, and I said Gen.G should push out a little bit. They have taken a little bit of mid control, so they're going to try to sandwich Shopify on the site. But of course, sheriffs against all the guns, it's going to be a tall task.
I love what Lori's doing right now. There is an attempted flank. Lynn's good for 1. All Cowboy, maybe no Bebop. 2 in the feed, though. 3 make that 4. A full retake for Gen.G. Now Shopify with 1 left alive. It's KP surrounded by deputies. They're able to take down Shopify, and on a surprising Chico round, Gen.G take it back.
Yeah, and Shopify, as I said, they were pinched onto the site, and then we have Lynn coming in from behind, getting all those headshots inside of Garage and taking that control basically by herself against those 2 members. And so the rest of Gen.G able to hit their shots as well. And that's a very surprising round win, but you know, we take those. Shopify now will have that Killjoy ultimate available. And on the other side, Gen.G has the Resurrect. So we could potentially see the ultimate used as more of a base situation. Maybe we'll have Powerful place that lockdown on the B site, and then everybody will go A because, you know, Shopify still just switching it up so much.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this has been a game of rotates, and Shopify, I think their main strategy right now is just trying to take advantage of Gen.G, at times over-rotating. But it was kind of a reverse situation that last round. We saw the Shikos purposely played for the retake on the B, but now that there's weaponry on both sides, I'm wondering what Gen.G's plan is going to be for Shopify does use the lockdown.
I mean, they've already switched up their defense a little bit. They have Lily now holding on that B site along with Hannah. So the Sentinels are going to be on the same site, and they're not going to be split up this time. And as Tyre is going to be on that A site along with Carly. So that's a little bit interesting to me because so I've talked about the Astra utility, right? Being a little less flexible. You have to be more deliberate. But playing on the other site along with KO, I'm not sure if that's the right choice, because then you don't really have too much to slow down Shopify. Maybe just 1 Nova Pulse or 1 Gravity Wheel, but they can still push through that.
Absolutely can. Seems like we're a bit of a timeout right now.
It does.
I've been loving what Shopify has been doing for their initial, I guess the initial play of the round, right? The initial initiation. Sometimes their retakes have been a little scary at times, maybe not finding all the info they could. I mean, remember, round 2, we saw Carly nearly get the defuse. She was off by milliseconds. But you gotta commend Shopify for being able to take over a site so quickly and so aggressively. It's up to Gen.G, though, to play the retake game.
It really is. And I mean, it's a little bit hard, especially with the Killjoy. When you have those swarm grenades, of course, you cannot pick them up. So that's going to be one thing. And I feel like Tyrate has already been down every time they have tried to do the retake. So you don't have that flexible utility that I was talking about. So hopefully they'll be able to keep her alive just a little bit longer in order to provide some smoke so that Gen.G can safely push onto the site.
And it feels like at times we do see Tyrate playing by themselves on B, because the KJ utility's all over A most of the time. We do see it switched up here on the minimap, but you're completely right, Kura. Usually we see all this pressure being put on Tyrate just to play in the backside, and maybe sometimes they're good for one, but that's not very helpful in a trade situation.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like she is one of the more important people just to keep alive, because, you know, if Sage dies, you're like, all right, you lose the res, right? But maybe you lose the slow orb.
Yeah, you lose the wall.
Yeah, it's I mean, wall has been placed up mid quite often, and it just has been taken down very early, so you don't even have the wall when she dies.
Yeah, I think the number 2, or the 2 people we should be looking at for Gen.G here are going to be Lily and Tyrate. They're the playmakers. I mean, we talked about KO and Carly, right? But the huge playmakers for this defense is going to be Tyrate and Lily.
Yep, I definitely do agree. And of course, we see a little bit more of those Astro utilities being placed. The stars, one, of course, inside of B Heaven, just looking at all that utility right there, I would not want to push into that. But Shopify, they're not going to. They're moving toward that A site, and this is going to get really scary.
Yeah, they have a Sage Wall that goes up immediately. It gets broken down by Lori. What goes up must go down, but there's no utility at all on A site. It's all down to Hannah. We talked about Tyrate before and how that could be a problem on B, but what about the utilities on A side? Well, now we see Carly bringing everything out at once, completely stalling out Shopify, but one was able to get away. I don't think Carly was aware of that, though. Make that 2! Carly's gonna fall. Hannah surprisingly goes down, and suddenly A side's all for the grabs for Shopify's side.
Yep, and Lori, of course, we saw her immediately going onto the site alone, and she was able to take out Hannah on that side. So last 3 members of Gen.G coming in through Heaven. They're going to be just walking into the crossfires.
Oh, and Tyrate and the company, the whole brigade's going down ramps. They're trying to do their best. They're able to succeed. They take down 2 different bodies. All that's left is on A. The lockdown we talked about during the break's going to come under through. But Shopify now. This is going to be a tough one. They have so much potential on Gen.G's side, but they're down now 2 bodies. A heavily damaged Raze, now last one alive. Lynn's able to make it work. They take down the IGL of Shopify. Defending Killjoy is not able to find any of the bodies left. The showstopper needs to be used. Create that space. Second one's going to miss. More damage is taken. Rocket Fuse isn't able to find anybody. The showstopper quite literally fizzles out. No! They're able to find one out of nowhere! Beautiful hit from Lynn. Great shock hit. 1 in a million. Panini's gonna fall. But the stall game's now in full effect. A Raze versus a Raze. Doesn't matter if Lori or Lynn take the fight. It's too late to defuse.
Wow, that was a little bit crazy there for Gen.G. That was a wonderful Killjoy ultimate, but I did put some notice onto those smokes and how they were really important. We just saw that happen right there. Bonini putting up that smoke in front of A so that Shopify Rebellion could actually retreat safely into spawn, because I think they really wanted to use that line of sight in order to catch those members out. But unfortunately, not going to happen, as Shopify now have 5 ultimates available, and that becomes very, very scary for Gen.G, especially since they're down 3 rounds. They have to work with, you know, that null command coming through, the cabbages, figuring out where they are. It's the second set of cabbages that are going to be used in this game if they do decide to use it this round.
Beautiful opening knife clears out the entirety of A. No one playing there. Omen TP giving info onto the site again. The cabbages go through. It's only going to detect Hannah onto the site, but it's all a giant bait again. They posture themselves all over A, go for the full rotate onto B. This is the perfect time for Lily now to bring themselves back onto the site. She's within range. But look at this. Han has the suppress. They have the ult coming through. Double KJ Molly gonna stall things out for a tiny bit, but are they ready for the army on the other side? Flash is not gonna be used yet. Han's gonna drop, but now it's up to Lily. Carly. Oh no. These individual fights, it's a 1vx every single time around. Lynn's good for 1. Gen.G have to play the retake again. Tyra and company hiding away. Carly's able to get revived, but at what cost? Well, it's going to be a positive one for Gen.G to take down KP. It's just an absolute war zone all over the site. Showstopper again comes on through, this time on Lori's side. No one's immediately poking out. Lockdown's going to stall things out quite a bit. No one's able to push up, but Shopify are down bodies, Sakura. This isn't looking good for Shopify. They have to hold the fort. They're able to stall it as long as they can, but it was too little, seemingly too late. Flowerful can push up. They continue to stall it out. They're good for one, but is it too late? The answer is going to be no. Gen.G, again, retake on B works successfully.
Well, I was going to say Shopify, I'm pretty sure they used every single one of their ultimates in that round, and they were not able to take advantage of that. So, of course, we saw first the cabbages coming out onto the A, as you said. They only were able to find out one member. Gen.G immediately rotated, and then Shopify just ran through sewers. I think at that point, Gen.G had heard it. And with the null command, it didn't necessarily stop Gen.G in any way because it was popped a bit early. And of course, with all that killjoy utility sitting inside of B Heaven, they weren't able to get onto the site as fast as they wanted to. And of course, the Raze ultimate coming in at the end. And with that lockdown, I mean, it was a little bit doomed there for Shopify. So they're going to have to reevaluate how exactly they are holding on to that B site and when to use those ultimates. As Lynn now, I was going to say, is she going to peak in that scary situation? She does, but Shopify, of course, is not watching this as of yet. Will get that free or one closer to getting her showstopper, but Shopify now, they're moving up with, there is no Sage Wall here to stop them.
No Sage Wall. There is going to be two different types of smoke to help mitigate things a tiny bit. No one's checked Tyra yet inside vents. Could wait for the audio cues, but instead a head's gonna pop on through. Hello, team! It's gonna be a trade, but a beneficial one? It's gonna be in Shopify's favor.
And of course, they have lost the flashes to get onto the site, though. But as I said, Gen.G, they have lost their smokes, and I think that is just so important.
Carly's just waiting for someone to drop down into those vents. It's a death trap right here. No one's... No, right? No. Well, what about Lily? It's kind of the same situation, right? But this one's a little bit more of an even trade-off. Lily, a 1v possible 2. Waiting for someone to push up here. Carly could try. No! It is! It's gonna work! The sand trap comes by, but no, again, another trade! Great job for Shopify to do so, but look at this, full A-side control yet again. Hannah's the only one on the side trying to find them. They're like, pop goes the weasel. They're able to find 2, make that 3! Great job! Great sentinel utility, quite literally like a turret.
Amazing from Gen.G just to be able to hold that A site. And of course, Shopify chose A as that final place of contact, and Panini moving over there still was not able to get that play on the site because just using that wall for Hannah was absolutely amazing. And of course, we just see the killjoy utility still being used inside of B Heaven at this point. I feel like Shopify can just push members there and take out all of that utility for a long time.
I feel like a lot of these individual 1v1s are really starting to blossom out from Gen.G's side. A lot more of a comfortability. Shopify, they've been going for different strategies each round, right? But it also feels like Gen.G are reading into them a lot more than we saw early on.
Yeah, because they have been able to get that last 2 rounds. And we haven't seen really the Astro utility being used too much except for the smokes. But Gen.G will definitely hear that the Sage Wall is being taken down on that A site, which means they have moved 3 members over here at this point. Knife still up in 15.
Oh, true.
Flash.
It's a really big CSGO flash.
And I mean, Shopify Rebellion right now is going to be on that save, so it's going to be really difficult for them by coming in. Oh?
Oh, Lori?
Oh?
This is one of the weirdest fights I've seen. The suppress is not going to find anybody, question mark. I'm a little surprised about that as well. Yeah. Hannah's able to find Lori at the very least, but look at the triple pinch coming out through from the core of A main. Able to spot out both these bodies. KP might still be hidden away. I think they found her out early on, but no one's been able to capitalize off of it. But KP's effectively stuck, especially if this KO is going to fall.
30 seconds.
Kyra is 15 HP though. And I think they're going to move up as a unit. There we go.
Really smart play coming through. Han almost taking control of A, realizing again these bodies are keep flooding in. Gen.G are actually down 1.
15 seconds.
But the rotate's going to come through. Is there enough time to get onto the site? Yes, but not by much.
10 seconds
A lot of utility possible. Could be used from Lily here. Oh, but it gets shot out instead. Flowerful, no. It's going to fall. It's an even 2v2. The plant still was underway, but there's not enough time. There barely is by milliseconds. And now the full alley retake needs to come underway. Shopify again. Great cowboy. No bebop. Thrifty win for KP. I guess these Chico rounds are just going to be in the favor of the Chicos.
I mean, yeah, for
for Shopify Rebellion, I mean, they drew everyone from Gen.G over to that A site, and then they were able to take them out and then just run all the way over to B. I didn't think they had enough time because, of course, as I'm just going to keep harping on this, in B Heaven with that Killjoy utility, I'm actually surprised that Lily didn't pop it a little bit earlier, because if she did, there would have been no way for KP to be able to get onto the site in time. So I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity there for Gen.G, but of course, they still have this round and they are going to be going on to the save. So I'm expecting them just to push out and at least peek some angles to try to get the same headshots that KP was in that last round.
Every time we see a save round coming out from a team, I'm just going to keep thinking in the back of my mind, oh yeah, no, the thrifty team's going to win here.
Oh yeah,
but,
sure.
Oh, what happened to the guiding light? He got stuck. Oh no.
Bird.
Oh, poor Burn. Okay. Again, we see the same retake coming on through from Gen.G's side. They did this before, and they won their first round doing the same exact notion. Shopify Rebellion, though, no ults to work with this time around, getting stalled out by the KJ Mollies. Lily and company looking to rotate around from the flank towards B main again. We saw this happen last time around as well. But Lily, if they were to push up, they would have met the gaze of Panini, who instead now forced to take their own actions into their own hands. Turret's going to go through. They found the info about the KJ. Panini still putting on so much pressure. Lori's going to push up here, looking for a body maybe on top of Heaven, able to succeed. And look at this, not so much of a thrifty anymore. Carly's the only one able to find a kill.
Nope, and for Panini, I mean, it was really good that she was looking for the flank, making sure that Gen.G couldn't move there. So they actually funneled them all into Heaven, where they wanted them to be. So for this round, we're going to have Shopify, of course, with that Killjoy lockdown available. Full buys coming out from both sides. But Gen.G, this time, they have that ult economy advantage. So I really want to see Lynn maybe push out with her showstopper and try to catch out some members of Shopify Rebellion, because at least they've been grouping up into 3 and 2. So then she can actually catch out some of those members or even stop one of Shopify Rebellion's pushes, because of course Lori getting onto a site has not really been a problem for her.
No, not at all. And we saw a lot of that aggression coming out at the beginning of the matchup too, where we saw the Sage and we saw Raze push out from mid side, but there hasn't really been much capitalization from that.
It definitely has not. I mean, they've really only been pushing out when they are on the saves and not onto those full buys, as Han is going to come in. That's a nice first pick onto their imposter.
Hannah's still waiting behind the Sage wall. Not wanting to take the fight, though, especially when suppressed. There's no slows to work with here. They're going to take the safety route and go back towards Heaven's side. Hondo's already in the back, and they thought they were safe trying to sneak by. But Kura Lili was there right on the rotates, just in the nick of time. It's going to leave it to be very difficult, though, for KP. And for the remaining team, not for much longer. Lori to fall. And things are nearly evening up.
They really are, and that was a really good suppress coming out from It Not Han, just coming through mid and making sure that Hannah couldn't throw any of those slow orbs. But of course, you can't really stop. I guess you can't stop the Killjoy utility if Killjoy is not inside your radius, which is always like sometimes like really trippy for me. Because you're like, oh,
right,
that should not be used, right? I think does the alarm bot get taken out? I think it does. I think it's just the grenades that are not able to get taken out. But in any case, Gen.G didn't need to use any of their ultimates, so they will have 5 for this round. But of course, Shopify, they are still playing quite separately. We have 2 members looking toward mid now, Lori and It Not Han playing together. They're going to be fighting that Raze Sage duo. Of course, the wall going down once again, and we just see the utility being split up a bit more this time. We have Killjoy playing on the A site for Gen.G, and of course, the Astra utility one in front of B and one in front of mid. Both have not been popped yet.
That's right. And although Lili seems to be a little out of commission towards A side, they do have a great area to use that lockdown. But it's not going to be quite in the area where we see Shopify pushing initially. The Cabbage is going to go through on top of Heaven's side, spotting out at least one. But Panini now teleporting to the back of B side for some info. Not going to find a whole lot except for maybe Tirade towards Pillar. But now the call's been made to go for the rotate. Is that going to be towards A side through sewers? The KJ lockdown is going to try to trick the majority of Gen.G. Breeblich still there, having to back off towards Ali's side. Lili, though, in a powerful position. We talked about her in screens, still going to remain there.
That's really good for Gen.G, but she is smoked off. So now they're like, all right, I think this is probably a bait because there's absolutely no noise in Gen.G. They really like rotating through that defender side.
And they're suppressed. Oh, this is huge. The lockdown was discovered, though. KP, great game sense, but the sacrifice of their own life. Now everyone on Gen.G are towards the back of screens. They all have to push in as an army. They can't go in individually. Showstopper already peering out from Lynn's side, trying to find the great shot kit, but can't find it. No! Where's Shopify? They don't know. Everyone's all dispersed in different spots. But suddenly, as the smoke clears, there's only a few left alive from A-Main's side. They're trying to destroy the nanoswarms, but Flowerful still holding out from A-Main. Last one alive now, a 1v2. Could be great to find the shots, but unable to succeed. They did their best, but now Gen.G only a point behind from evening things up for the half.
Yep, and now Shopify, it was really good that they pushed onto A site quite quickly and tricked Gen.G into rotating. But then after that, I feel like they just stayed onto site a little bit too long. It was really good for KP to be able to push through and take out that Killjoy ultimate, but then losing those flashes and trying to get out becomes a little bit more difficult. So of course, now we are in the last round of the half. Only ultimates available are the Cosmic Divide on the side of Gen.G and the Showstopper on the side of Shopify Rebellion. So I'm expecting for Shopify Rebellion just to play a lot more quickly because they are postured outside that A site. And of course, I'm expecting the Showstopper to get popped immediately and just go onto A and just take it completely.
Oh, I hope so. I feel so bad for Carly if that's the case. Early Night comes through, though. It's gonna suppress. They can only use one of their... Oh, they can only use one of the blast packs. They're not able to get onto Heaven. That aggression from Lori, though, has to readjust. It seems like the plan might be now to go not flank towards Heaven, but instead hold elbow side. The plan early on is going to go down. Tyree needs to find that control on Heaven's side. They're able to succeed. They find one on Ramps. Flowerful to fall. There's still two more to deal with. The info has not been gained. They do have the Astral Wall. I don't think we've seen that once yet, Kura.
We definitely have not. And they just aren't really using it right now because they don't know where Shopify are.
Yeah, it's been a huge mind game coming out from both teams for the majority of these rounds. One left alive, though, for Han. Good for one. Needs to play skee ball with the other two. Suppressing Knife could find info, and it's able to find the remaining ones. No intel to be used, no info. Han, good for Lily, but the defuse is still going underway.
Oh, no.
They're able to stick it. Beautiful timing coming out from Hannah.
Well, I mean, the first time it didn't work for her. The second time it will. As Gen.G just steal that round away, and the Sage Wall, of course, is right in front. I thought there was a little gap there that she could sneak through, but that gap was
I thought so
not
too,
enough.
but KO's a big boy.
Oh, that is true. KO's a very big boy, but in any case, going into the second half, I mean, it is split. It is tied even on split. Technically, the score is technically split in half, but in any case, I think that's pretty good for Shopify in order to take 6 rounds on the offense, because on the defensive side, they kind of have the same situation except without the Sage. I think the holding power of KO, Raze, and Killjoy should be enough.
Okay, no, I'm inclined to agree. We saw the Sage Wall early on used in mid, but after a while, it wasn't really used as aggressively. It was mostly used in the post plants like we saw at the end of that last round. That being said, not to be a factor anymore for the defense, I'm wondering if Gen.G want to really play around with that fact and use mid control a lot more than Shopify did.
I think they do, especially since there really is nothing to stop them. Maybe you throw out a paint shell, but that's really all you have, right? You don't want to be wasting either maybe your knife if you're not going to push, or those swarm grenades if you can put them onto a site. But Gen.G, they're not really playing that rotate game that Shopify is. They're mostly congregating outside of B, and it seems like they are just going to wait and run down the clock before pushing out to site.
Look at these different play styles. We saw Shopify in the attack playing so aggressive. Everyone on Gen.G are playing slow, methodical, patient, and now blind it seems. Shopify forced to push back. KP, one of two onto the site. Sage Wall going to go forwards, funneling themselves in. The wall nearly broken. KP again with just a ghost. Needs to be able to find at least one here. Lynn's going to back off, use the paint grenade, use that as the initiating factor. One around from the alley, rotating on forwards, but Lynn having a great angle potential on one, misses the opening shots, but has to push on forwards. Lori to fall. One of the duelists completely gone. It's a war zone going through. No clear winner except for Shopify, who were good for 3 in a row. Panini with a double. Now the defuse underway. Lily tries their best, but they make it to Heaven. Now they quite literally go to Heaven.
Even though Gen.G were able to get on the site, of course, with that typical Sage Wall that we see when you want to get onto that B side, when that wall got broken down, Shopify just streamed through, and Gen.G, they had nowhere else to go. They couldn't really back off toward B main because it was a little bit of a disadvantaged fight for them if they didn't have those ghosts. But now it's going to be Ooh, both teams are buying up. Gen.G is buying up even though they lost that first round because they want to try to get the lead. They are taking a gamble. So I'm expecting them to just try to push in with those 5 members, overwhelm Shopify, because if they play slow, of course, they are on that shield disadvantage, and I don't think it's going to work out in their favor.
I feel like I see a Reddit post every single week debating whether or not you should buy up after losing the pistol round. Whether it's economically better, whether your chances statistically are better. I'm gonna be real with you, Kura. I don't know. I just like to see the teams play.
True. Same.
Oh, is that a double suppress? Oh, it is a double suppress. This is CSGO now. Lynn's able to find one. Han's gonna fall. But look at the rest. Outside the skirts of the war, we do see KP up against another one. But there you go. Great call. Great rotates come by. More trade game potential as Shopify are now down a body. Lori and company split away from one other. That's gonna be Flowerful. Spike carrier's gonna go down, but Gen.G seem to have the odds here on B yet again. Flowerful now the last one alive, needs to go through from heaven, but someone's there to meet their gaze. It's gonna be Lynn right up on top. Do they know about the Sage Wall? No, right in the blind spot. Lynn's gonna find the shots on the flower.
Yep, and it will be Gen.G's gamble paying off for this round. And of course, as I said, they're going to be aggressively going onto site, and they did. I mean, I feel like they could have moved in a little bit faster through Garage to make sure that... I don't remember which teammate did die on that site, but I think she could have prevented their death in order to take KP out just a little bit earlier. But now Shopify going to be going on that save. They won't have too much shorty actually coming out from Laura.
Oh.
So she might be looking to potentially blast pack into somebody's face. Oh, no, she's going back on the classic. Oh, that shorty's going on KP.
And KP is playing on B main. I'm wondering if they're trying to catch someone out from Garage again like they did before. Didn't quite work out when they attempted to last round. They were able to find that reverse kill. But instead, it's full-on aggression onto the site. Lynn, without really much of a problem except for Garden's able to find one. But look at this, it's Trade Central. And now it's a 3v3. They've mowed down some of the extras. But now, Spike is going to go down onto the site.
Oh.
Great flank coming out from Han here. Lurking potential now coming full fruition from Han's side. There's only 2 left alive now for Gen.G. They're trapped by their own Sage Wall. Han with the suppress should be able to detect both of them, I believe. Yes, that's the remaining 2 alive. They have a rough idea of where everyone's located. Tyray hiding behind maps. Using what little cover they have. It's still penetrable though. Haven't found anybody just yet, but little do they know they passed up in a blind zone. But a triple kill from Tyray is going to save the day.
Whew, wow, I was actually expecting Lily to get that kill onto it, not Han, coming in from Sirius, because that was a great position, right? We have the Killjoy turret looking toward heaven, and then we have the alarm bot looking behind. But of course, it's going to be Tyra just sitting at the back of the site. That crossfire is really great. Even though Shopify had the members' advantage, they could not take advantage of that. But they will at least have the full buy for this round. I mean, both sides basically have a full buy at this point, except for Tyra, of course, who is going to be staying on that Spectre. But for Gen.G, again, they're looking like they're playing more together in that unit. They're just pinching in from mid and from B. And now Shopify, they've placed 3 members at mid, making sure that they can't do that again.
I'm wondering if we'll see the double knife come out again. Han's able to find the opening pick. Maybe the knife's not necessary, especially with them going down. I guess it definitely isn't. But Gen.G, you're right, Kura. Look how aggressive they can all play as a singular unit. They're able to find that early aggression. They take down 2 different bodies of Shopify. Now KP alone on Heaven's side. They do have the guiding light to work things out, but there's essentially no real info to work off of with this Coyote. They're able to find one inside of sewers, but the rest of the team is virtually unknown. They could have crossed through in the sewers. Call may have been made. But little do they know, silently approaching B main could be the rest of Gen.G.
For Shopify, they're just going to be sitting where they are. I kind of expect them to play more together as a unit, maybe move toward that A site where all the utility is, just so they at least have a 3v4 retake going into this. But Panini's going to be watching B main, and Gen.G, they're getting ready to pop out of this. 30 seconds left.
Astro Wall's going to come forwards.
Oh, first one.
Didn't see it in the first half. Yes, there it is. And look at that sound denial, visual denial. So much denial coming through. The wall's going to go up right at the perfect time. Panini and company can't push it. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And Spike, well, now only half a site to worry about now. Plus a defending Killjoy. All sure, that's going to be a bit of a problem, but it's still lined up perfectly for main. Tyray and company, all they need is one to hold on to the site. Double KJ and Molly's going underway. It's a game of making sure no one can get onto the bomb, or onto the Spike, excuse me. But now, trying to push up forwards, it's blind and nanoswarms all over. No one can get close. And look at this, through the smokes, trying to find whatever they can. Hannah's able to revive Lynn. That's even better. They could just pop on in. Suppress goes through, realizing it's not going to work out. Shopify, they have to lick their wounds and go for safety.
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested. I mean, we just saw what the grenade from KO. I had a mind blank and I forgot what it is called.
There was so much utility all at once, like so many different colors.
Right. So we had the fragment, we have both nano swarms, and then Shopify, because they were kind of just distracted by, the knives, the Killjoy ultimate, they did not know how to clear all of that utility. So they were just like, all right, we're going to back off. We are not going to take this at all. So Gen.G getting a lead in the second half with 2 rounds, and with Shopify not really being able to buy up, I think they can extend this to another as long as they keep playing in that single unit, making sure to take control of mid.
Yeah, I feel like Shopify have been struggling a little bit on these retakes here. We did see a huge amount of prepared setup coming up from Gen.G that last round. But the other rounds, even before this, it was a bit of a struggle at times, too. We do see early smokes from Panini coming through, double KJ, nano swarms on side of the entryway towards Garage. We've been seeing Gen.G really prefer to go towards B, sort of like Shopify was early on in the first half of their own attack, but things evolved later to go for A. I'm wondering if we'll see the same rotates coming through from Gen.G.
No, I don't think so. Shopify, they've actually moved everybody toward this mid side, basically. We have 3 people looking at this. So it's going to be really important for Lori just to get this initial pick, and she's still not able to.
Another dark cover, locking out all of mid. It's good to keep Lori alive. But Gen.G, this could be a free opportunity to rotate through sewers, but instead, they're looking like they might want to push towards it. Oh, and they are. They blocked out Lori. Suppress is huge. Still knowing a big presence in mid exists. Han gonna back themselves up. They want to be prepared for what might come. It's like an avalanche going towards heaven. But Gen.G, they haven't made an official move yet. They're all re-rotating their way around towards B heaven. Nano swarms on all the KJ util though, right on the other side of that dark cover.
Yep, Gen.G, they have completely cut noise once again, and now they are starting to move in. Of course, all those nano swarms are going to stop them. 15 seconds left. They have to go on.
Oh no, this could be huge for Flowerful. The blinds go through, but they're hiding behind a small little box. They're able to find the spike. They take them down, and sure, one body is gone, but it might be too late. There's a second to spare. If Carly's gonna fall, it should be now, but no, they're able to get the spike into the ground. Lori, though, pushing forward, trying to find whatever they can. So many bodies are injured, but they're able to stay alive, passing by the green sage while Hannah hiding away. It's going to be up to Flowerful to push on forwards here. Maybe find a little bit of luck, but Lily to fall instead. Carly and company, they need to make sure that the fuse doesn't go underway. It's baited out by KP. Soon to fall. Headshot to the noggin. One left alive, though. And it's going to be Panini with a gigantic triple.
Well, I thought the null command was going to be absolutely massive there because that stops Gen.G from using any of their... stops Shopify Rebellion from using any of their utilities to get onto the site. But Panini doesn't need the paranoid, doesn't need any of the smokes, just needs raw aim. So now going into this next round, we have that showstopper once again from Lin. And of course, I think Lin is going to go onto site very, very quickly from the side of Gen.G. And they've tried B quite a few times, and now they are going to be moving toward A finally. And of course, still playing together as that unit.
Remember when we said that Gen.G had never played this map before?
Yep.
I'm a little surprised. They're doing really good.
I mean, I feel like it might also be because KO is now in play. I feel like KO on split might be something that they want to try to start exploring.
On Blast Pack, last time it was denied. Full-on coverage of the site. Not a lot of info to go through, but Lin's actually going to go for the flank with the showstopper here. Dismantle anyone that comes by, possibly for a double kill, but Panini's going to fall instead. No more controller for the post plant, though, and Lin sitting nice and tight down below inside of Garden.
That's another paint shell kill.
It's true. Wow, Lin is on a tear with this utility.
Right?
I don't know what the response can be.
Out Carly. Sorry, Lily.
Oh no, look at this. A mini flank coming out from Shopify. Bodies are melting away. Shopify are still down by 1 though. I'm wondering, maybe this is the opportunity to save. We can already see Flowerful.
Yeah.
It looks like the call's been made. They're getting out of there, yeah. Maybe looking for exits.
No, I think they're just running away at this point because pushing into that Sage, I mean, shouldn't have any utility left, but also that Raze. I feel like Lin, I mean, the players to look at right now really are Lori and Lin. Are they going to be aggressive or are they going to be a little more silent? And both of them, they've been really showing up.
Yeah, they really have been. I've been loving what Gen.G's been doing on this attack. They were a little shaky on the defense at first, but it seems like they really found their stride in playing more reactionary around Shopify.
And for the side of Gen.G, they're not going to have any of those ultimates up, but they are still ahead by 2 rounds. And of course, they are going to be trying A once again. This Killjoy utility seems like it's going to be placed in front of the site by a Flowerful. But of course, they don't really have the Astra to kind of gravity well them in. I don't think we saw that interaction during the last half, unfortunately.
I'm a little sad. Imagine Gravity Well plus Nanoswarms plus the grenade now that KO has.
Oh, right.
That is
And
quite literally a
raise?
microwave. And raise? Microwave. And slow orbs?
Oh, that sounds absolutely disgusting. Please stop.
Oh no. Oh, Flowerful needs to move though. We saw the flash come underway. Knife just barely out of Flowerful's vicinity. Still trying to hold it back though, hiding behind the maps. Then company are going to be pushing through for the showstopper. Oh no! Of all the times you need to hit a possible triple kill, not a single body goes down from it. And now Shopify, well, they're looking pretty dang good going into this now. They think the rotate call's been made, but actually still won. Tyrade's holding out down. Now rotating. They were holding towards A for a bit. They still might go back.
Yeah, but now the null command has been wasted basically for the side of Shopify. I'm surprised to see her pop it that early. I think I would have expected her to at least run onto B site and then pop it because there was definitely not enough time for Gen.G to already be on that site. So now they're moving back toward A. There are no nano swarms available for Flowerful. So she just has to hold it with her turret, alarm bot, and her body.
This is the moment we've been waiting for. The turret's gonna discover everybody, and Flowerful
What?
instant double kill. Doesn't even need to see. The lineup is there with the Phantom through the smoke. And Lily, what do you even do here? There's not many options. They're being flanked from sewers. They're good for a Han, but at what cost? They can't plant. They lost the round.
They definitely haven't. Wow, what a mind game that was. I think at that point, might as well just go over to the B side if you know, like, Killjoy is on A. I think Gen.G did see her quite early, so you kind of should expect that all those nanostorms are going to be there and not in B heaven, where Gen.G usually puts them. So in this round, I'm interested to see what side they are going to go toward at this point. Are they going to try to play a little bit more split? Because, of course, at least it's worked out for 4 of the rounds, but it hasn't worked out for 3, so it's almost a 50-50 at this point.
And I feel like at the beginning of each round now, where you're seeing Shopify get a little bit more successful with their opening aggression, and we've seen them kind of maneuver and swerve themselves to play a little bit more unorthodox too. I mean, it's not quite aggression, but the opening wolf is able to give some info, and I'm wondering now if we're going to see Shopify play off of that going into mid. There's 3 different bodies there. It's definitely possible. Glory's already ready with that paint grenade, and that should be effective with the guiding light. Early dinktos go through, grenades, and of course, it's gonna be effective. Double utility kill comes from Shopify's side, and they're still in the one in the back, but they have to retreat towards sewers.
But now, of course, with the body down, still the lockdown available, though, for the side of Gen.G. And Shopify, they're still playing quite split. They're waiting to see where Gen.G are going to be pushing on. They have not decided anything as of yet. I feel like the spike put has been just coming really late from the side of Gen.G.
You're absolutely right, Kura. And now the long trek needs to be made. The caravan coming through from Carly all the way back over to A. Do you remember what happened last round? Last time they tried doing the same exact last 3 from Gen.G on the board. Oh no.
No, but the main thing is, they do not have Tyrate on the Astra anymore, so they cannot really smoke themselves across, but they're actually going to get a smoke from Shopify.
Oh no! Flowerful's gonna go for it again! They might have a great chance of doing it, but Padini instead wants to show they can do the same exact thing but from a different angle. Now Flowerful, of course, with a double of their own, Hannah's able to survive, but at what cost? They have barely any room to move. Floor is lava and they melt away.
Yeah, but of course, Shopify, I feel like they can just place more members mid at this point because Gen.G, they are trying to take advantage of the fact that there is no Sage Wall, but it's still not going to be working out in their favor. So at this point, I think they should do the same thing as Shopify. You know, use Lin, get onto one of the sites and take it, and then kind of worry about the retake later.
I completely agree. It's a giant chess game right now on Split, right? Between these two teams, because the factors aren't really that different. You have a Sage and you have an Astra for Gen.G, and then you have a Sky and you have an Omen for the side of Shopify Rebellion. They're essentially they're two sides of the same coin at times, right? It's just a matter of how, in terms of utility, they can be used against each other.
Yep, I definitely do agree. And we do have a tactical pause coming out from these teams. Of course, it is 10-10 at this point. And Gen.G looks like they're going to be moving toward that A side. But of course, maybe they're discussing something now and they're just going to move toward B and, kill all my predictions.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like Gen.G and Shopify are really good about just keeping us on our toes. I mean, again, this is Gen.G's first time ever playing on Split. That already kind of knocks out whatever preparations we could have had. And it's so cool to see that not only it's a surprise that they haven't wanted to play Split before. And again, at Kuro, I think you're right. It's because KO may have been that final factor they really needed to feel comfortable on this site. There's so much utility, the entirety of every single agent they have to bring out here. And just the lurking potential, the suppressing potential that Carly's KO can bring out, everyone's doing a really damn good job here.
Honestly, I feel like it's going to be that fragment that comes through as well, because then you have just so much more stopping power on every single member on the side of Gen.G. So for that, I'm a little bit surprised that they only got 6 rounds on the defense.
That's a good point too. I'm wondering. We talked about this before, right? The gravity well. You mix the gravity well. It's like a mixing pot, right? You can put in a little bit of gravity well, maybe a little bit of a slow orb, and then literally anything from Lily and Carly can destroy the entirety of Shopify in a single swift motion. Yeah. But that requires so much coordination. Not that Gen.G doesn't have it, but Shopify plays so loose and really individually until the end of a round, unless they go for an aggressive push onto a site. Then making that work effectively, it's more of a waste of utility than finding maybe 2 kills at most.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I guess that definitely is the case. But we are going back into the game, and the lockdown, of course, is available for Gen.G. So hopefully we're going to see it popped pretty early onto this A site. But there's really no one from Shopify holding this because they have placed most of their resources toward that B side. Of course, the dog is going to come through, and we'll find quite a few members of Gen.G. They should be calling for the rotate from Shopify.
Oh no, and look how aggressive this is going to be. Lin, usually the aggressor onto a site, is going to take a back seat and watch towards ramps. Han, blocked off by the smoke, can't see anything, but wants to go for the spray towards elbow side. It's going to allow the rest of Gen.G to push onto the site. The lockdown's in play. Flowerful and company need to back off and reroute themselves towards down ramp. But
pushing it.
A little bit of a... Oh no, the mollies! Oh no, we talked about this before, Kuro! Look how effective it was!
Yeah, but they're finally going to be able to take down that lockdown on the side of Oh, I guess no, it is their lockdown. They have taken everyone down from Shopify. So at this point, they kind of have to just back off and go for the save, because even though Not Han has all her utility available, it's not really going to help too much as the time is ticking down.
And Gen.G's post plants never involve actual gunfights. They use all their utility for the most part. Obviously, it's a little bit more of a gray area than that, but for the most part, they rely on their utility and ult usage for for holding onto a site, rather than Shopify, who wanted to go for those gunfights, play aggressive, and go for the flank.
And now, I mean, as you say that, Gen.G, they're getting pretty close to some ultimates. We have the Cosmic Divide, 1 away from Tyree, so since they're moving more toward that B side, I kind of expect them to potentially take the fight with KP at B, but as I say that, KP's moving toward A, so never mind. It's not going to be a fight with KP. It might be a fight with Flowerful.
I'm really worried about the economy here for Shopify. If they lose this round, map 1's effectively over.
It's true. So that's why they're still placing 2 members at mid, and they're putting a lot of utility toward that A side, making sure to get that information if Gen.G is there. But Gen.G, they are 4 strong at mid. They still cut noise pretty well, except for, of course, that knife that has come out. Does not find Shopify because they are playing very far back.
Still no response from either team. A lot of mid control for Gen.G side, but not a single Shopify wants to poke their head out just yet. Cabbage is going to go through. It's only a single one. It's not going to do a whole lot in terms of info. No, it's just waiting for the timer to go down.
Oh, but KP has moved all the way outside of A. So if Gen.G actually decides to run through sewer, she will find that out. But they're still moving up mid, and they're still playing very, very slowly. You have to be a little bit careful of KP, though. I don't think they expect anyone to be coming from spawn.
I certainly
no, they do. Oh, they do.
Wow. Great game
Really?
sense from Lily. Holy, that might be the play of the game right there. Great job going through. Now Vents control completely in the favor of Gen.G. There is Panini at the top, though. 1v potential 3. Spectre in hand, able to mow down only 1.5 at most. But look at that. Lori there with the trade going on backwards. Could find possibly another. More paint grenade action going through. Stomp from Shopify. Even if they were lower in the eco. They only have to deal with one more before bringing things 11-11. At this point, Hannah, effectively out of options. No spike to work with, no time to even get it back in plan. I mean, nearly going to overtime at 11-11.
Up and unfortunately, that is why Vents is a death trap. Because we had one person on one side, and then we also had It Not Han pushing in from the other side. And Gen.G, they could not go anywhere. Even though they did find out that flank at that point, I feel like you just push through B main. They are pinging B main right now, so it seems like they are going to be going for that. The Cosmic Divide is up, so we might just see a repeat of the round before.
Because they're pinging it out, Kura, do you think they're going to go really aggressive? Because last time around we saw that same maneuver go by. It was towards the end of the round when everyone was baited out towards A.
Well, Lynn doesn't have the showstopper available, and she is playing toward that A side, so they don't really have any other tools to be aggressive with.
No real mid-presence coming out from Shopify. Suppressing knife is going to go underway. Doesn't find anybody, though. Coyote's able to spot out one. That's huge for A, but it was only one single body.
Of course, they are still playing around mid. All that Killjoy utility is now sitting inside of Heaven. They have took a page out of Gen.G's book.
And it was a really effective one, too.
Spike is alone, though, at B. Oh, no, coming all the way back in spawn.
Stinky and smelly through sewers. Lori's waiting, though. They blast pack their way up. They don't have the boom bot anymore. Some more utility to be used.
I don't know if they're going to check this.
Oh, they don't. Just a little bit pops out, and Lori misses this blast pack. Oh no! But look at that. The paint grenade goes through. That could be a great Marty Dom. It's able to find some damage on the handout, but only a little bit. Now the Astral Divide comes on through on the A side. They tricked us all. KP's right on the other side. They could go for a gigantic flank here. Is that could be the option? Maybe. Yes. Nobody checks it. KP's able to find one, nearly two, but Lily still hides in a small corner. A 2v2 underway. Sure, Flowerful and company still going up against each other. It's down to Gen.G. One left alive. A double pinch comes through. They could be good for one. The wall on the other side. They're all lined up for Hannah to find the double headshot. This could be possible. No revive possible. Look at that, but no, not enough to find the double headshot. It's gonna be Flowerful with the defuse.
And even though that Cosmic Divide came out, they were able to get onto site in the end there. I mean, with that flank coming out, they did not check that. The Killjoy turret was just too far back. They thought the Shopify was going to come from sewers, and they just came from Heaven instead. So now, match point, Shopify have more tools than Gen.G at this point. And for that last round, I think it's when Lynn died, they didn't really have too much else, again, to push out of the site with. And honestly, just look, I'm just going to say this again. We need to look at the duelist. If the duelist is alive, then I think that Gen.G has a shot to at least be aggressive that we want them to be. But if Lynn dies, they're a little bit stuck.
Yeah. We talked about a lot about the initiation factor as well, right? But I feel like those duelists, you're right, have been a huge initiation factor. Like Lori pushing up into A main, realizing nobody's there with the Coyote. There's nothing to work with, and they just wasted their ult.
That's one of the tools from Shopify Rebellion down, but Lockdown is still available. And of course, all that Killjoy utility at the front of the B side is going to be able to stop Gen.G. Fragment even potentially coming out from It Not Han.
I'm wondering though, what's the response going to be? A full-on Warzone again. Lynn good for one. Oh, but surrounded completely. Not enough info to get onto a site. Flowerful company, they're just playing a mow down right here. There's 2 bodies left. Gen.G, when they had the disadvantage like this, it never looks good. And now Lori coming in for the sandwich. They're the meat and the potatoes, and they're detained too. Oh no, what a disappointing end. And Lori, their kill stolen away.